You can live stream the show there. Timmy on YouTube says, NFL free agency is better than cocaine. Okay, very good. That's the best way to get your free agency started is to compare it to illegal drug use. But yeah, there is a bit of a buzz that comes with it. I don't know if that's the direction that you would choose to go. It's also, potentially incriminating, Timmy. Be careful there. But we have a lot of good stuff to continue to discuss and continue to work throughout the course of the process. Now, here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, it was reported by USA Today. Now, this was a very wide net that they were casting, but still, it was put into a report. Tyler Dragon of USA Today, who I was unfamiliar with until such time as this was put into print, mentioned that multiple teams were interested in Chiefs corner L'Jarius Sneed. Now, you'll remember, he was franchise tagged by the Chiefs, but also given permission to explore a trade. This was the report at the time. This was back on, so I guess this was last week, March 5th. As expected, the Kansas City Chiefs officially placed the franchise tag. This is from USA Today. Placed the franchise tag on cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. Sneed still has permission to seek a trade despite the designation. A person with direct knowledge of the situation told USA Today Sports that the Minnesota Vikings, Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans, New England Patriots, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, and Jacksonville Jaguars have all expressed interest in the Chiefs corner. The person told USA Today Sports on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the situation. Okay. So, L'Jarius Sneed is still something that they're actively trying, they being the Titans, are still actively exploring a week later. We know that they signed Chidobe Awuzie yesterday, was talking to some people this morning about this, and the buzz around Sneed and the Titans has never been louder. My understanding is, of course, that the compensation is something that they're trying to work through. That's not something that you needed sources on. It is an obvious part, but just for reference, that compensation is still something that they're trying to work through. And also, financially, they would have to give him a contract once they acquired him because that is the thing he seeks. Now, as legal tampering opened up yesterday, did you see L'Jarius Sneed got out there on Twitter? All he said at about 25 minutes after the legal tampering period began, respect it, exclamation point. Now, that could be anything. It's always funny to me when football players tweet things or athletes tweet things and people just immediately assume that all they're thinking about that they would put on Twitter is about football, that it would immediately be within the context of football, which of course you don't know. It's fair to assume. The timing seems to match up. Respect it is what Sneed tweeted out yesterday. So that could mean a variety of different things. It's a little cryptic, especially given the timing, but not something that you should get too caught up in. But how do Titans fans feel about the idea that they are still actively exploring the viability of a trade for L'Jarius Sneed despite having signed Chidobe Awuzie yesterday? Roger McCreary, at least under the last defensive coaching staff, I don't know what Denard Wilson is going to look at Roger McCreary as, but it seemed that McCreary was a better fit as a slot than he was as an outside corner. Now, he can play both. He played outside in college, was perfectly capable and competent at Auburn when that was his primary role, has seemed to thrive better at the NFL level or succeed better at the NFL level as the slot corner as opposed to being on the outside. Now, the injury situation last year forced them to make those kind of decisions and move him around in places that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have wanted to explore. But we've talked about the need in the secondary. L'Jarius Sneed is one of the best performing corners. I mean, it was between him and honestly Trent McDuffie, two Chiefs corners who were among the best corners in football last year. It's a lot easier to like L'Jarius Sneed when he's playing on his rookie deal versus a mega corner contract, and you just saw Jalen Johnson get $19 million a year from the Bears.
I was going to say, 4 years, $76 million, and the market value for Sneed per spot track is estimated at 4 years, 65 and a half, approximately.
Fair to assume higher. So if I give you all that, now listen, there's nothing to guarantee. They may decide that the draft compensation that Kansas City is too expensive, or rather is too rich. They may decide that the contract value on the back end after giving up draft assets is too much. Any potential deal may fall through. But if I tell you this morning that they continue to explore the possibility of it and that continues to be the buzz around the facility, how does that make you feel as a Titans fan?
It definitely signifies a high financial commitment to fixing the cornerback position.
And that matters, right? Like, teams are investing in the same way that the Titans are getting ready to invest significant finances and capital into skill position players. Teams are also doubling down in their secondary and saying, all right, we need to find as many ways to keep the numbers advantage in coverage, to not have to blitz if we can help it. The best defenses win with four-man pressures and keep the numbers advantage in coverage the way that the Titans successfully did for a couple of years under Bowen and Vrabel. Now, I think many of you would have expected that ability for them to do so to last longer than it ended up lasting, because things kind of fell off a cliff a little bit last year, and there was injuries to account for as well, as there always is. But Sneed is the best corner on the market that is attainable. Now, I know there had been some scuttlebutt. I hadn't seen anything. I haven't heard anything that's got any actual or factual basis to the idea of him dealing with some kind of knee injury that the Chiefs are wary of. I think that's just something that was tossed out on you, by your aunt or uncle on a Facebook message that people started to circulate around on the internet. I haven't heard anything really viable there beyond just chatter. So if we operate under the assumption that he's healthy, and we pose to you the idea of that trade, because you're talking about probably substantial draft capital as well, in the absence of a third-round pick, how does that make you feel?
The F&M Bank chat is adamant that Kendall Fuller is a better player than L'Jarius Sneed and is available in free agency.
Well, he's not a better player than L'Jarius Sneed last year. Now, he is infinitely more attainable than L'Jarius Sneed.
2 years older. Sneed 27, Fuller 29. Just turned 29.
And I like Kendall Fuller just fine. This is a matter of, they have to figure out what they prioritize here, and that's currently the process that they're working through, and they continue to maintain discussions. Certainly with the Chiefs on this, I don't know what their level of discourse with Kendall Fuller's representation has been. I haven't heard much to that effect, but I think the Awuzie signing is more the Kendall Fuller contract. This would be a pretty big kind of cornerstone type swing. When they signed Logan Ryan as a part of, so when John Robinson first got the job, what was the biggest thing that he ended up doing right out of the gate?
Oh man,
overhauled
2016?
Overhauled that secondary in a massive way.
My man catch no balls.
MMCMB, right? It was Adoree Jackson. It was Logan Ryan. It was Kevin Byard. It ended up being Amani Hooker later, but Kenny Vaccaro was a part of the MMCNB unit. He said, get the hell out of here, Parrish Cox. Get the hell out of here, Valentino Blake. Who was the other corner at the time that I'm blanking on? I think that, the guy that they replaced.
Sensabaugh?
Cody Sensabaugh was also here. Kalen Reed, I think, was a part of John's initial draft class in 16. Even still, though, one of Robinson's biggest priorities right out of the gate was to fix this thing from the back end. And then, organically, they started to, through the draft with Jeff, with Harold. Rashaan Evans was a part of that. It didn't work out. But still, they started to organically address the front after kind of paying to fix the back end and get it into a spot where this could move a little quicker. Bryce McCain. Yes, Bryce McCain was also part of that conversation. Cousin Brian says Jonathan Joseph. No, that was later. That was bad John tenure. Good John tenure was fixing the secondary. Bad John tenure was Vic Beasley and Jonathan Joseph and Clowney in the same offseason. But anyway, just something to keep your head on a swivel about. Again, I don't know that they're going to be able to get it done. I don't know that they've got the draft assets to do it, but I know they continue to explore the viability of it, and that's something that has gone on for a couple of weeks now. 615-737-1045 is how you join the discussion. We'll take a larger look at the rest of the NFL, the biggest contracts that were handed out yesterday, how it impacts the Titans. I'm Buck Reising. It's 1045 The Zone.